This is the Candy Couple. I'm Julia, and today I want to show you a easy but frugal Thanksgiving meal from start to finish. I'm a busy mom, so I don't have time to do all of my Thanksgiving cooking homemade. So I want to show you there's ways to do it and still save some money. But before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. So I don't know what your plans are for Thanksgiving, but for us, we do cook at home. And I always try to cut our costs as much as possible, and we use a lot of the produce that we have grown throughout the year to help our Thanksgiving to cut the budget. But I know a lot of people out there don't do that, and there's a lot of videos out there that do all this from home scratch cooking. They make their own cornbread, their own cream of soups. I'm not going to do any of that. I cheat. I have found the art of the cheat, and that really does help cut my time because I don't have 12 hours to spend to make Thanksgiving. So I want to show you my grocery haul and what I did to cut my costs. And please make sure you stick around to the end, and I'll tell you our total cost for everything because I think I overbought a little bit, which Aaron will tell you is a really bad habit of mine. But what we got, we went to a few different stores. We went to Aldi's, we went to the Dollar Tree because could not find milk. Everything was $2 for a half gallon, and I didn't need quite a half gallon, so we got a shelf staple milk. Went to Aldi, the Dollar Tree. This was Food City, this is Food Line, and this is at Grocery United. I actually had a lot of hope in Grocery United having some of the things that I needed at a much cheaper cost. It is a discount grocery store. It did not. It's been a while since we've been there. What, 6 months?
Maybe that long, maybe.
And I felt like the prices had gotten as expensive as everywhere else. So it was a bit of a struggle. I had put a lot of hopes there, and my hopes were crumbled and dashed. But what we're going to do is, I've got my menu here, and Aaron will tell you, we really don't have time to do a 100% full from scratch Thanksgiving.
Right.
We really have to cut corners, and I've kind of learned where I'm willing to cut corners. But you can make it even cheaper if you are, if you have the time and you're willing to make some of these things. So we're going to do a turkey breast. And this is where I've kind of cut my costs the most because I got this turkey breast for $1.29 per pound. That was the sale price, the cheapest I could find one. And it's just under $6. So this will be good for us. We're a small family of 3, and I will push this meal to at least 10 meals for us. We're going to do rolls, mashed potatoes. We're going to do a corn pudding. And if you're not Southern, and I don't know if most Southern families have ever had corn pudding, but it's a really great side dish. So we're going to do a corn pudding. We're going to do roasted carrots. Here, I got these for $1 for a pound. I can't get 2 pounds of not peeled carrots for under $3. So this is a great price. I got 2 pounds of carrots for $2. I got the 5-pound bag of potatoes for $1.99, which in our area is a really good price. We are going to do roasted broccoli and cauliflower. We're going to do mac and cheese. We're going to do stuffing. And we are going to do, for dessert, a apple crisp here. And you're looking at me like, well, it's not Thanksgiving without pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, making it from homemade or scratch, has gotten so expensive. It is no longer cheap to make a pumpkin pie. The pumpkin for us, for sale price, was over $1 for a can of pumpkin. The evaporated milk was at minimum $1 or more. That's 2 of my main ingredients. It wasn't in the budget. So let me tell you what we paid for each of these things and go through our method. So at Aldi, this is probably where I got the bulk of everything we need that in Food City. So these were 88 cents per box. So I went ahead and got 2 boxes of the turkey stuffing. And you can make this like this, but I'm going to show you how to amp up the flavor here. This was one of my most expensive items, and that's the butter. Because you really have to have the butter. It was $3.29 at Aldi's. The cream cheese was $1.19. Whoops.
Trying to turn the oven on.
That is something. The apples were $1.99. I could be off on that. Now the cheese was my star. cheese for us for 8 ounces is normally $2. This was $1.39. So I got 2, but I think I overbought. I only think I need 1. These were 55 cents. These were $1.49, and I got 2 bags. Again, I think I overbought here. $5.83 for the turkey. This brown sugar was $2.39. It's gotten so expensive. I used to be able to get it under $2. The corn was buy one get one, so they were 69 cents. This was $1.49. They didn't have anything but the organic at the Grocers United. I actually hadn't planned to get this. I planned to get cream of celery soup, but I couldn't find cream of celery soup anywhere, so we had to go with this. The corn was 69 cents. My celery was 99 cents. It's really pretty, actually. I was kind of surprised there. My eggs were $1.29. Now, I could have gotten these a little bit cheaper, but I was hopeful that I could have gotten them for 99 cents at Grocery United. I couldn't, so I had to get them there. So that was, not very good on my end. The brown and serve rolls, because I'm not making homemade bread. I don't have time for that with everything else. $1.72. $1.25 for our milk. So we've got a lot of
And the
the
carrots.
carrots were $1 each. So $2 for carrots and $1.99 for the potatoes. So we got a lot of stuff here. We're gonna make a really great, good, nutritious meal that's going to last us for the week, but you can use this as your inspiration for Thanksgiving. And I'm going to go and prep all of this and get started, and we'll come back and put it all together. Okay, so I've done all the prep work here, and we are ready to start putting everything together. But before we do that, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel if you like our content. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my turkey breast ready to go. You can't see it, but there is a half a stick of butter underneath here. And this is not needed, but I have it, and I'm trying to use everything that I bought except for seasonings, because I did not buy the seasonings, and we had a really good stockpile of those. But I'm trying to use just what I bought except for the turkey. I am going to put some bacon grease in here. I love bacon grease on turkey. I think it tastes so good. It adds a richness, a smokiness to it, and I want to make sure I get a good spoonful here. So if you have bacon grease, use it. If you don't, that's okay. But it will use a whole stick of butter at that point. But we do want to put a spoonful of bacon grease in there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some salt. We're going to salt it pretty heavy. You should always salt your meat pretty good. We're using Redmond's real salt, which we love. And I'm going to put some of our pepper. And then Aaron picked out our seasoning for this. You can really put it in the oven like it is right now.
We just like stuff seasoned.
We like stuff seasoned. We are not a simple seasoning family. We like a good bit of seasoning.
Yeah, and this is a Creole seasoning.
Yes. So I'm going to sprinkle a bit of that on here. I'm going to put a little bit in the bottom of the pan because I'm expecting a good amount of juice here. But we are going to add a little bit of chicken broth that I bought. And this was already done in here. I didn't touch the turkey, so my hands are clean before anybody freaks out. Okay, we're just going to add probably about half a cup. Not too much. You don't need too much because it's going to create its own juices. You just want to have enough so it doesn't burn if there's not a lot of juice, because it is a turkey breast, so you have to think about it that way. You don't have the fat from the dark, so you've got to compensate. I'm going to cover it. It's my roasting pan. I've got the oven set at 350 degrees. And we're going to get it in here. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to start our stuffing. So our stuffing, this is celery, that whole thing of celery. We are going to start it on the oven on a high heat with the butter, this whole stick of butter. And this seems crazy, but it's going to make the best stuffing we've ever had. Such a good stuffing. Okay, this is going to cook. I need to give this time to cook. So let's get the corn pudding started and together. So for the corn pudding, I have those 2 cans of corn. I drained them, got them ready, and now we're going to open up a can of cream corn. We're going to add that. Be careful, I don't want to cut myself. Okay. A can of cream corn, and then I'm going to do 2 eggs. And yes, I know you're supposed to do your eggs separate. I do not. I've never had an egg go bad on me. So, we're very careful about that. I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of flour to this. Get it open. So we want 1/2 cup of flour. Yes, 1/2 cup of flour. And then we are going to add a full cup of milk. And I have to be careful. I need enough milk to get through my mashed potatoes. And for the mashed potatoes, what we will do is we'll cook those in the Instant Pot. There's the cup. And if you would like this sweet, you can add a cup of sugar or 1/2 cup of sugar. I talked about it. That's what the recipe calls for, but it really does make it very sweet. So I don't actually think it needs it. We're going to add a dash of salt and some pepper. Everything can use some pepper. Probably about a teaspoon of each. If you need a number, 1/2 teaspoon, somewhere around there. I'm going to take a fork so I can whisk it around. We got peppers in the dehydrator, so it's activating everything.
Yeah, we're feeling it in our nostrils.
It's you can definitely tell. Look how pretty this looks. Looks so nice and fluffy. And it makes like the souffle, like a corn, like a stuffed corn souffle. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my butter here. So normally what they call for in the recipe, from what I remember, you would take it and you would put the butter on top and then you would stir it. I'm actually going to put the butter in now. So first I want to give my celery a quick. You can add an onion to the celery if you like onions. We do not. So we're just going to do a few little slabs of butter here. Okay, that's ready to go in the oven at 350 degrees until it's not mixed. You know, you're gonna have to stir it in the middle, which I'll show you. But right now, we're just gonna set it to the side, and we'll get everything in the oven at the same time. My next thing, no, I'm not ready for the stuffing yet. We gotta let that cook first. Our apple crisp. So here's our apples, sliced, ready to go. We're going to take some brown sugar. We're going to add those in. And I'm going to use about a cup. I'm doing my eyeball measurement here. Put about a cup of brown sugar straight on those apples. We want them ooey and gooey. That's the ideal here. So they're going to be nice and caramelized, and they're just going to taste amazing. And we're also going to put some butter directly into the apple. And then we'll also put butter on top because we're going to let these cook for a little bit. And then we're going to put a flour brown sugar mixture on top that will get nice and crispy. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. That's the plan. In baking and cooking, it never works out the way you hope it does. So I'll put a few little slabs of butter here. Get it off my knife. Left my butter out to kind of soften. It's at the stage where it doesn't really want to work with you. Tell you, the house smells really, really good right now. And I'll have all my recipes down at the bottom of the description so you all can find them if you be easier for you to follow along. Now what I am missing is some seasoning, so give me just a second. I'll be right back. Got my seasoning. I'm actually going to use a pumpkin pie spice here because it has all the seasonings that you would use for this. It's got the nutmeg, the cloves, ginger, things like that. And
Sorry,
we have a stink bug.
Stink bug fly on me.
That's what happens when you live out in the country. So put that in here. Probably did a tablespoon. I would cut that in half if you don't like a lot of seasoning. We do, so we use quite a bit. I'm gonna say I think I need more brown sugar as I look at this. So I'm gonna add about another half a cup. This is the only dessert we're making, so I think we're okay to add a little bit more sugar here. We want that dessert to be, good. You want it to be memorable. So we're just gonna get it all good and mixed and get ready to go in the oven. And again, we'll add a topping to it about halfway through its cooking time. We just don't want to add it too early because we don't want it to burn up and get too crispy. Just gonna get it all good and mixed. And I will tell you, like, I didn't make this look super pretty. If you have the time for that, you can. It's still going to be good. It's still going to be beautiful. But it's not laid all nice out and flat like you would see in the movies or on TV or TikTok. So, but it's still going to be amazing. Okay, apple crisp is ready to go in the oven. Set that here. And we're going to get our macaroni and cheese water on. That on high. Add some salt to that water. The celery is already starting to cook down. It's gonna be so good. Okay, my vegetables are ready, and what we are going to do to them is we're going to take some butter and just put a little bit on top. You're like, you're using an awful lot of butter. We are, but that's the only oil and fat that we are using for this entire meal, except for that little bit of bacon grease that I use. So I'm okay with that. So you're just going to put just a little bit throughout, and then we are also going to season this. And I'm going to use my kickin' chicken seasoning that we used the other day on the other vegetables because Aaron liked it so well. So we're going to use that same seasoning. We're going to go kind of light. And these are ready to go in the oven until they're done. You don't want them mushed, but you don't want them super crispy either. Carrots. Now I did slice these down a bit because I wanted them to be a little faster on the cook. All we're doing is we're going to butter these or not butter, but salt these and put some butter in them with them, because when they're almost done, I'm going to add about a half a cup of brown sugar. So they're going to be brown sugar carrots. It's Aaron's favorite way to eat them is with brown sugar or honey. He doesn't like them, like I would throw them in with the turkey. That's my solution to carrots, but he prefers them sweet.
Yeah, I like sweet carrots.
So, but we do want to put a little bit of salt on them just because it's going to bring out the taste of the carrot. And that was about a third a stick of butter for those carrots, but it's 2 pounds of carrots. So it's really not much at all. Okay. So the potatoes will cook on manual for 5 minutes in the Instant Pot. Trust me, if you've not cooked potatoes in the Instant Pot for mashing, do it. Do it today. It's so much better. It's so fast. So fast. Okay. Start getting the stuffing together. So my stuffing recipe is super easy. And how many of y'all make your own cornbread for stuffing? I don't make homemade cornbread. I know I'm Southern and I don't make my own Southern cornbread, but we don't eat cornbread. So it doesn't make sense for me to make it. So tell them why we don't eat cornbread.
We don't usually eat cornbread. I mean,
You don't like it.
Right. I mean, I'd rather have bread.
It's a texture thing. So for stuffing, I just get the stuffing mix. And I got 1 cornbread and 1 turkey. So we'll see how this turns out. I don't typically get the cornbread one.
Oh, you didn't realize you did you?
I didn't either. I didn't. So I do need to add some chicken broth and some flour here. Oh, these look so good. My mom started making stuffing this way, but she does an onion. I don't like onions, but I like the celery. I really, really do. We're going to kind of make sort of a pseudo celery soup, cream of celery soup. I just need a little bit of flour. I don't want this too thick, and I don't want it like a traditional cream of something soup. If you can get cream of celery soup, go that route. It's much easier, and it tastes really, really good. So, tell them how well you like my stuffing.
Oh, I could just eat it all week.
You
I mean, I've always been a stuffing fan, though, so it's one of my favorite things probably at Thanksgiving.
So I did about 2 tablespoons of flour, just enough to give it a bit of a thickness, but not to make it like a soup. And if it gets too thick, I will be adding some more. Turn that down. You're also noticing I'm not doing a lot of this on the stove. I much prefer to do the majority of my cooking in the oven for these holidays because it's a much faster, much easier on me long term, because I don't have time to sit and babysit. But in the oven, I could get it ready, have it all in the oven, and be done with it, and we're finished. That's why I like the oven. It costs a little bit more because you're running the oven, but I'm putting everything I can into the oven. Okay, that looks good. And the celery, it's a little firm, but it will continue baking in the oven. So, back to my stuffing. What we're going to do is we are going to throw in 2 eggs. If you wonder what I'm doing with my eggs, I'm actually sticking them in a compost bucket. I have a few that Aaron's got to take out here in a little bit. So let me rinse my hands off, wash them off real fast. Okay. We're going to put some salt because we love Redmond's real salt. So good. So good. If you've not tried it, we definitely suggest you do.
Yeah, but nothing in comparison.
Nothing. I'm going to whisk the eggs a bit We want to be careful because this is very, very hot. So you don't want your eggs to cook in this. So you kind of want to have it sort of started before you start adding stuff into it. Then we're going to take our chicken broth and add it here. And what we're doing is we're just looking for the right texture. We don't want it soupy and we don't want it too much. That's why I didn't get this too terribly thick or too terribly thin. Hope my bowl is big enough. This is that thing that I do, but normally it's with pots. Like when I'm making soups, I will overfill my pot. I will overstuff my pot. I actually want to put a trivet underneath this. Okay. Got a mess. How many of you all clean up your messes as you go? I'm curious. Do you clean up as you go, or do you just start doing it and clean up the mess after? I kind of do both. Again, we want to be really careful. Like if you just put your egg in and then start putting your celery mixture in, you've got to be very, very careful. You do not want to cook your egg. Rather, you want the egg to be the binder. And I don't add any seasonings beyond the salt here because the stuffing mix already has your seasonings in it. You can add some sage, you can add anything like that, but it really doesn't need it.
Yeah, it doesn't need anything.
And I have found the Aldi's stuffing mix is just as good as any of the others. Actually, it's been better.
It has been.
The past few times, and it's a lot cheaper.
Right.
Oh my God. Even when the name brand stuffing mix goes on sale, it's still cheaper by like 20 cents, 10 cents. Before it used to be like 30 or 40. Are your all's Aldi's prices going up? Like I'm curious. So we used to go to Aldi's, every 2 weeks, right?
Probably.
Or not 2 weeks, every 2 months. Now we go to Aldi's like every 6 months. And we've been going a little bit more because they have pretty good deals on some of their cereal, but not as much as we used to. You can see how good this is already looking. And again, if you like onion, you can add onion. I bet you probably even add a pepper in here, but the celery is just absolutely wonderful. And the reason I made both bags of this, because it does make a lot. Aaron does love this. And I'm not a huge stuffing fan, but I like it like this. Make sure my stove top's off. Okay, it needs some more liquid. I could tell it's not moist enough. So again, you don't want it to be soupy. So it's this sort of an eyeball as you put it in. You want it to be moist because you're going to cook it in the oven. So it needs enough moisture to cook the stuffing mix. But not to be soupy. You can cook it, it'll take longer to cook if you get it too wet. And this is good with gravy on it. We actually don't make a lot of gravy. Aaron doesn't like it. So if I'm the only one that's going to eat it, it's not really worth it to me to make it. But the few times I have made it with it, it's always been really good with the gravy. But Aaron just eats it plain. So, why do you think this is the way to go with Thanksgiving, Aaron? For a busy mom.
Because the time savings. So that the video that you're watching here, this is done all over, a few hours on a Sunday. So you could do this, early that morning, the night before, and save your time, that so you can spend time with your family on Thanksgiving.
Not all moms have the luxury of making from scratch, homemade. We understand that probably just as well as any other mom. We're a bit different in our homesteading journey because I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also a work-from-home mom. So it makes there's another element there, and not all moms have that luxury, and we get that. So I want to show you the hacks, the cheats that are going to make your life so much better. So here's our stuffing mix. What I'm going to do, we get this into a pan, and we're going to bake it until it's nice and golden brown and crispy. We'll show you progress throughout. So I think this is everything. Let me look at my list. Let's do the list. So we got to do the potatoes. They go in the Instant Pot for 5 minutes. Manual, 5 minutes. Trust me, change your life. How good they are for mashed potatoes. So turkey is in the oven. We have the rolls, but they don't need to go in until dinner is closer to being done. So what I will do with them, they're brown and serve rolls. All you do is put a little bit of butter on them, stick them in the oven till they're brown and they're done. With the corn pudding, the carrots, the broccoli, the mac and cheese, my stuffing, corn pudding, we're good. That is everything. So I'm going to get all of this stuff into a pan. I'm going to get it all in the oven, start cooking, and we will be back to kind of show you progress in between and also what it tastes like. Time to finish off this mac and cheese. You can tell my pasta cooked. Cook it per usual. I did leave some water in there, the pasta water, so that I can make the broth, and my potatoes just finished. So I'm going to take the cheese packets. So another question. I'm full of questions, by the way. I want to know if I'm the only crazy one. How many of you all have more than one pair of kitchen scissors? I feel like we had one pair and it wasn't enough, especially when you use it to cut lettuce every day. We're going to add some butter. See, but we're going to make this taste even better. We're just going to start mixing, get it good and creamy. Again, this is my mom hack for an easy, creamy, good mac and cheese. It's not perfect. It's not fully 100% homemade, made from scratch. You do all the roux and you mix the cheese. That takes so much time. So much time, I know. And I'm a busy mom too. I don't have time like that. And a lot of people do. But if that's your family recipe for you, I definitely go with it. So I took 2/3 of that block of cheese and just blocked it up. If you want to shred it, you can shred it. I hardly ever shred cheese anymore. I find just blocking it up just as good. Because it's all going to melt anyways. We're just going to keep mixing. Until it gets good and melty. And it's so hot that it really doesn't even need to go back on the stove. And the reason I didn't omit mac and cheese is because I have a little one. She likes mac and cheese.
Yes, we wanted to make sure there was something that she would definitely eat out of this meal.
Always. That's like a #1 key. So what my mom used to do, we were a bigger family. We were a bigger family. I have several siblings. So what she would do is she'd let us choose 2 things. We get like, what's 2 things that you want? And she would make them. And most of the time it was the basics. So I'm always going to make, mine was turkey. I want turkey, Mom. That's the one thing I want is the turkey. Julie, I'm already going to make a turkey. What else do you want? Somebody would be potato salad or 7-layer salad or all of these other things. So she would always make sure there was something there that we would eat. I would do turkey and corn pudding. Those were my things growing up. Oh, look at how good that looks. How creamy that looks now. She's gonna love this. Look how easy that was to make. So you can still have a good frugal side dish without having to expend a lot of effort, time, and money. Because this was 55 cents plus 1/3 of that block of cheese. It was $1.39. Say it was $1 for the cheese. 55 cents for the 2. It's 2 something for the whole pot, plus the little bit of milk that I use, because I still have 3/4 of that milk. And that's a big pot of mac and cheese. We won't eat We'll be using this mac and cheese for something else. It won't all be ate here. It's a lot of mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But it is creamy.
Yeah. The baby's not
probably-
going to eat all that either.
I probably could have gotten by with one box. I really could have, but it didn't look like enough as I was cooking it. We're just going to keep stirring until that cheese is fully melted. And again, you can shred it, but I really, for savings of time, effort, and energy, I just find taking a knife and blocking it up works just as well for me. And while I'm doing this follow-up, I've not started the apples yet because they're not going to take that long to cook, so I did not want to put them on. Let us go ahead and stir the corn pudding. So let me get that out of the oven. I've got some coconut oil on here. I'm trying to melt it for some deodorant. So letting the natural heat from the oven go ahead and melt my coconut oil. Here's my stuffing so far. Isn't that beautiful? It looks so good.
It does.
And it smells amazing. Okay. I need a trivet. I love my trivets. They're like the thing that I use. Oh, I did have one more thing I wanted to add to the cream cheese to help make it even creamier because I'm
You
not...
mean mac and cheese?
The
not
mac
cream
and cheese. No, I want to add cream cheese to the mac and cheese.
I was like, wait a minute. It's bad I can read her mind.
He can. Look, so you see how it's kind of forming this texture right there? That's what you're looking for. So what it does is it kind of bakes up as you're going through. And that's why you want to stir it so you can start getting that mix all the way through. And it doesn't like burn on one side. And it starts to cook it like all the way through. Get it good on the sides. That's where you want to get. You want to get it really good on your sides. Just scrape it. Smooth it back out. And you're going to pop it all back in the oven. I also have some frozen pumpkin. I've got to make Aaron something other than oatmeal this week for breakfast. So I was going to make some pumpkin bread.
Ooh, okay.
He's getting a little tired of the oatmeal.
We've
had it like we've had it for several weeks.
We have, and I mean, you know, it takes me longer.
It takes him longer to eat it.
To eat oatmeal than other things, and busy mornings, it slows me down.
So I've left this cream cheese out to keep it soft for the potatoes, but we're going to go ahead and add it to. We're going to add just a little bit to this. It doesn't need it, but it's going to make it even better. And I used 1/4 of that. It's going to make it even creamier, ooey gooey, what you want to see in a yummy mac and cheese. I have found just taking the box mac and cheese and adding extra cheese to it, some milk, a little bit of cream cheese, will take that mac and cheese and just take it to the next level. That's all I do when I take mac and cheese anywhere. And it's always so good.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
So it's an easy mom hack. It really is. Saves me some time, effort, and energy when I don't have any. And I still want to give something good to everybody that I love. Oh, that looks amazing. Looks so creamy.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And all I did was add a little bit of milk a little bit of extra sharp cheddar cheese. And I use sharp cheddar because sharp cheddar has a stronger taste. So you could do a Colby Jack.
Well, and because it was on sale.
And it was on sale. It was a very good deal. It was 60 cents cheaper than everything else. So the sharp cheddar, but it does have a stronger taste. So if I had to get one type of cheese because of my budget, that's what I would get. I have been trying to lean towards that because it does have a, that's why it's got sharp cheddar. It's sharper in the taste versus like a Colby Jack, which we love. It's our favorite, but I would always lean towards that sharper one. Milk, a little bit of cream cheese, and the pasta water. That's it. And I have an amazing looking mac and cheese that the baby's absolutely gonna love. I am gonna add some pepper because I have found, we got these peppercorns.
So these are the, is it wild Madagascar?
Something like that. You were the one who found
or
them.
Something. Yeah, I can't remember right now what type they are, but these came out of the same place we get our
Vanilla beans.
Vanilla beans from, yes.
All right, well that's that. We've kind of watched everything. I still got a few more things to get in the oven when it gets a little closer to time to be done, but we'll come back here in a little bit. So we're ready to put the final touches on our easy Thanksgiving meal. We're going to start with the mashed potatoes. So you can see, look how pretty these are. See how pretty these mash from the Instant Pot? So easy. So easy. So we're going to take the rest of the cream cheese. I don't get mashed potatoes but at holidays. Tell them why.
They're too flavorless for me.
So I only get them on the holidays because he has something else to eat, which is
Potato salad.
Potato salad. So I make enough potatoes for both of us. I don't like potato salad, but I like mashed potatoes. And we're going to put salt. We're going to put quite a bit of salt because these are potatoes. And I didn't add any in the cook. And mashed potatoes aren't very good. But he does like them with cream cheese.
Yeah, cream cheese gives it a different flavor, texture.
It makes them smooth.
Yeah.
And if I sneeze, I'm sorry. My nose is agitated from the peppers in the dehydrator, the hay straw we just put on the...
Planted our garlic.
Yeah. Whew. Okay, you can see I put a good bit of salt, good bit of pepper. Now we're going to add some milk. I'm going to go slow on the milk because I don't want this soup. And I did a whole stick of butter. We're just going to give them a good mash. And I don't like using like a mixer for my mashed potatoes. I think it takes away from them. I still like mine a little lumpy. So I have found just my meat masher works just as good as anything else. Oh, those are pretty. And those are good. Look how pretty those are. And how fast they came together. I'm telling you, the Instant Pot, the only way I cook potatoes anymore. They're really pretty. And if I weren't on camera, I would try them off of the thing. Okay, there's my potatoes. And now we're going to finish the carrots, the apple crisp, and the other roasted vegetables. You can probably hear my little one. She's playing right now. Sorry, it's moving on my trivet. And give them a good stir. They look really good and done, which is what we want. We want them nice and tender and pretty. I'm going to put some brown sugar here. I'm going to give them a nice caramely, sugary glaze. Aaron's going to eat these up like they're candy.
Probably. I like carrots more than she does.
I love carrots, but I don't like them. I'd rather just throw them in with the turkey, but I do like carrots. I'm not terribly fond of them honeyed. Aaron likes them anyway, he can get them sweet. You can already see how pretty those look. Like, you get that pretty glaze, that darkening from the brown sugar, that molasses color. They cook for a few minutes. They're going to be really good. And if you all wonder why Aaron married me, he did because I'm a good cook. Here's our roasted veggies. And you can see they're very pretty. Just going to give them a quick toss, really quick. They're just nicely toasted. You've got that seasoning. Just make sure we get that butter that we put on there mixed in pretty good. That's a piece of stem. I don't want to. I've got a scrap bucket over there. Get them all nice and flat again. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the rest of this block of cheese that we got. We're just going to put it on top. Just going to do just a few little ribbons of cheese, because you can never go wrong with broccoli and cheese. I originally wanted to do like a broccoli casserole. I could not find broccoli. Like, is there a broccoli shortage? I couldn't find broccoli. I was like, okay.
Yeah, she was like, well, I guess we're getting broccoli and cauliflower.
I was like, Aaron likes cauliflower.
I do. I prefer cauliflower over broccoli.
But he's been eating more broccoli.
I have.
But I typically put it in something.
Yeah.
And this will get nice and melted. And you can shred this. Again, I don't find that it does any different between the two. And I need to... Oh, we're okay. Baby's drinking water.
She was too quiet.
We too quiet. We had to do a quick check. We'll put this back in the oven, let it finish roasting just a little bit. Then we'll get the apples out here. See, it turned into like a pretty caramel glazed sauce. What do you think of dessert?
Looks good.
Are you surprised?
I didn't know what it would turn out like, honestly. I mean,
this isn't something I would normally make.
No. The baby will probably definitely like
She'll
this.
like these.
She likes apples.
Cooked apples.
Yeah.
And we're going to do equal parts flour and brown sugar here. For our topping. I got a big old block. You have a fork, it will work better than a spoon. I'm actually going to wash my hand really fast.
Let's see how good those look, though. They look amazing.
They do. They look nicely cooked. And I did peel these. I always peel store-bought apples.
Yes. Now, if it's from our trees, you know.
We will eat the peel.
Right.
We have not, and I can tell, like, it tastes off.
Yeah, it's probably all the chemicals that are put on them at the farms, you know.
I don't like the taste of apples, like, not from our tree. Even if we get them, like, if I don't know where they came from, Like even in another
Yeah.
place, we would still peel them. We try them, and if it tastes waxy, like I can't get it off. We don't know what pesticides they're using to keep the bugs out, to keep them pretty. Just safer. For us, it's just safer. So we always peel. Which is why they don't, you don't see that pretty red gold color. That worked out a little bit better. Now I can get this spoon in there. Oof, my allergies are killing me right now. And then I'm going to crumble this on top, and we're going to top it with a little bit of butter. I took this kind of like a topping for a sweet potato casserole, what I was thinking. That's like a staple for my family, not really for us. We don't do a lot of, if I do sweet potatoes, I want them mashed or baked.
Or fries.
Or fries. I don't want a casserole. I've never really been fond. I'm not a huge casserole person, which is why you don't see a lot of casseroles here. So if you are not a casserole person, this is the Thanksgiving meal for you.
Non-casserole Thanksgiving.
Right.
That should be the title, right?
Right. It just, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. You noticed everything is very simple, very plain, very straightforward. That's the key to an easy Thanksgiving. Keep it simple. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like the world likes to make things complicated. Let's simplify it some. We're just going to top it with butter so it gets that pretty caramel on it. Just need to leave just enough butter to do my rolls, and I think I will.
And we'll show you what all we have left over.
Absolutely.
As well. So, even though when you see the final price and everything, there's still going to be some of that stuff left.
Quite a bit of it in some cases.
Right. Like flour, for example, is a good example.
Because there's quite a bit of flour. There's still quite a bit of milk. So you will see what all, oh gosh, I almost did something really bad there. I was about to pick it straight up. I didn't notice. There we go. We'll get that in the oven. Again, I just let these cook on 350 for a little bit, not too long at all, and it will have the recipes in the description for you. Let's get the rolls. So these rolls are a staple in our area. You always see them around this time of year. I don't know if it's just a southern thing. The brown and serve, I never really see them anywhere else or on any other videos. And a lot of people might say, well, those are the cheap little rolls. They are, but they're okay. They're good. They're not bad. They're just not homemade. But if you don't have time to make homemade rolls, this is a good alternative.
Yep. Everybody will still love them.
Everybody will still eat them. They are edible. And that is all that matters. Thank you.
It was in the way.
She's looking at a book if you hear all this. Oh, and she might look just like her daddy. She has her mama made over. Just spread the butter out pretty good. I just wanted to make sure I got enough on for all of them. And you can make like baking soda drop biscuits, something like that. You can make an easy, like a drop roll with the flour. It's just, I was trying to give you an alternative and not make you feel bad if you do not decide to make homemade bread or biscuits or rolls. Because I love my bread machine rolls. I make yeast rolls out of the bread machine. Sometimes they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. But I don't do it every year. And I will say, in the past 2 or 3 years, this is my first year making Thanksgiving in 2 years.
Yeah.
It is. Because
House remodel and the little one.
and the little one came right at that time. We had just gotten home, and so I know what it's like. We bought Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do what you have to do. All right, I'm going to get these in the oven, and when we come back, we'll have everything out. I'll plate it up, let Aaron try, and we will tell you how much we cost and how much we still have left and what we didn't use. So everything has cooked. We're all done, and I have to say I'm very proud of how everything has turned out. And we've also added up our cost. So you can see here the roasted vegetables look amazing. So do the carrots. My turkey fell apart. It was so tender, and I actually took it apart so it could soak in the little juice it had. Corn pudding, perfect. Stuffing, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, our apple, and our rolls. Everything looks so good. Now, what do we have left over? I still have a whole bag of flour. Like, I barely touched this thing. So, I still have a whole bag of flour. I still have half a thing of milk. I still have about half of a thing of chicken stock. I didn't even use these. So I have a thing of cheese and a thing of creamed corn. So that's $2 I didn't need to buy. So I did overbuy. And then I have 8 eggs. If it would have been in my budget to get mayonnaise and mustard, I'd have made deviled eggs. Wasn't in the budget. If I were pulling from my stockpile, my pantry, I'd have made deviled eggs. But I wanted to show you a realistic, all of it from the grocery store. Oh, and then I also have a little bit amount of butter and half a bag of brown sugar. Now the butter I also use to grease all my pans. So just so you know, I didn't use any spray, nothing like that. I don't actually have any spray in my house. I've just been using oil and butter whenever I do anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it, no, I need to tell you how much we spent. That's how much we spent. So we do get taxed on our food. We live, if we buy in Virginia or in Tennessee, they are different taxes.
Right.
But I did overbuy by $2, so the total for everything was $39.85 with tax, $38.70 without tax. I did go to a few different grocery stores. I shopped all the sales that I could, and I did overpay on a few small items, but I'm okay with that. If we take out the $2, and I rounded down, if we take out the $2, without tax, that would be $36.70. I feel like I did a lot with $36.70 for Thanksgiving, and that is a really good price. I think it's probably the cheapest Thanksgiving meal I've ever put together.
Yes, probably so.
So I feel really good about this. And it did not take me that long because we did not start filming this until, what would you say, around 12?
I'd say so.
And we did not put the food in the oven until around 1:30.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that was between us eating lunch, putting the baby down for her nap, and everything else. So I feel really good. And right now it is 4:56. I feel really good about the amount of time it took me between doing this, doing garlic, and everything else. What do you think?
Oh,
Aaron?
yeah. I mean, a lot done today. And
Not a lot of time.
Right, exactly.
So I feel really good about this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plate together, and Aaron's going to be the taste tester.
Okay, let's try all this stuff and see how good it is.
Thanks for your vote of confidence.
Mac and cheese is really good. Does not taste like store-bought. Broccoli and cheese, you know. Just broccoli and cheese, but
Still good.
still good. Corn pudding. I don't know if I've ever had your corn pudding before, so that's pretty good.
Different.
Definitely doesn't need any sugar, like you said it might have earlier.
Well, that's what the recipe used to call for.
Stuffing's really good. Potatoes, good and creamy. Turkey's not dry at all.
Is it good? Does it have a good flavor?
It does. Carrots are really good too.
The little one's ready for her plate.
Okay. That apple crisp. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That might be one we're doing more often.
You think so?
Gosh, that's probably the best part of it.
So you don't miss the pumpkin pie?
No, not as good as that is.
Not as good as that is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear it because it was cheaper than the pumpkin pie.
Right. That's really good.
So, well, I hope this inspires you and gives you inspiration to have an easy Thanksgiving if you're a busy mom and not feel guilty about, not cooking from scratch. And as you can see, we've got tons of food here. We're going to go and eat, feed the baby. And if you have any comments, questions, please email us or leave a comment below. And check out our link tree for all of our other comment. And as always, thank you for joining the Candy Couple, where we work hard to live simple and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.